Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're all having a good day. Now for the past, I dare say, let's say 6 months, I have been doing YouTube full time. Over that time, I've done some pretty crazy stuff. I've made some interesting decisions on car purchases, but all in all, it has been the most crazy journey to sort of come from where I was, let's say 4 years ago, and to look, like if you told me 4 years ago, I would be where I am at right now doing this particular work and enjoying it as much as I do. And over that time, myself kicking goals upon goals for my life and everything, you definitely seem to attract the same sort of like-minded attention from people who are interested in doing the same thing. So a few weeks back, I actually went onto a live stream and there was about 40 people watching, and it was about 1 a.m. I think. And basically, it were the people that were really interested in finding out exactly what I was doing for work, how I was doing, and how they could do the exact same thing. And we went on for about 2 hours about how I created ZacBaldy as a name, as just everything, and worked on making basically this my new lifestyle. I receive a hell of a lot of messages on people who want to do pretty much the same thing and ask me how I can start, or where they can start, or why their videos aren't taking off exactly like they expected. So I decided that I would basically break down that entire 2-hour section of that live stream, put it into one video, and show you guys how I went about it. Not saying that I'm any expert on this whatsoever, I'm just seeing how I'm going. But I basically wanted to help out those people there, be very upfront as to how my channel was going and how I could potentially do mine better. But just general why I do what I do, why I make decisions like I do, and go into basically how all that comes about. So let's jump up to my office right now. I'm going to get into like full business mode and try and answer all of your questions. Okay, so we're up in my office at the moment, and this is going to be a pretty crazy video because I have honestly never looked back at these stats. It's quite impressive, and just for myself is impressing me. I just realized how hard this video is going to be to film because I'm doing that thing where I just can't think about things that I want to say, and I have so much in my head that I want to get out. I'm probably going to make mistakes, so I'm sorry. I'm just going to try and do as much of this in one take as possible, but I know I will chop and change it, so yeah, I hope you guys all really enjoy. So back in early December, I decided to go YouTube full time. Now this was a massive decision that I've been working on for a few months, basically how I was going to transition from going from full-time work into full-time YouTube. It's not a transition that everyone wants to really get done quickly, but for me, there was no other option apart from to do this full-time because I knew that I wanted it so much that I knew I needed to just do it, get it done with, and see how it goes. When I first quit my job, I had 15,000 subscribers, and I also had just over 2 million video views. And the actual way that it came about was I was actually working at my previous job, Fixer Room. I think I'd been working there for around about 11 months at that time. During that time in that job, you know, there was a lot of times that I was on social media a lot of the time, and I was looking at how other people were managing doing a full-time job versus doing something on the side for themselves. So yeah, I've been working there for around about 11 months, and I knew that I wanted to get out and do full-time YouTube sort of as soon as possible. I was really struggling to focus in the job that I was in. I always found myself sort of distracted by my own things that I was doing at the same time. And that led me to basically go, okay, I need to get this done very, very soon because I just cannot take it. The worst thing is that this wasn't the only job that I was feeling this in. My past 5 jobs, I have actually been fired from because I just cannot focus my energy into one thing. I was always, you know, trying to push what I was doing and trying to better myself, that I literally just couldn't keep up with the workload that I was told to do at my job. I always looked at myself as, you know, never being good enough for anything until I sort of found YouTube myself. And so yeah, over the past 3 years, I think I said, I've been trying to make YouTube videos to try and sort of my own enjoyment because I was struggling so much in these lines of work that I was in that literally I apart from working at Norris Motor Group as a detailer, I've actually been fired from my last 5 jobs. It really puts a downer on your life to try and think like, you know, that you're not good enough for any of these workplaces, but I used it as a thing to say, okay, I need to do something for myself because I can't fire myself. And the reason that I was fired from those jobs was because I was putting time and effort into something that I never actually knew I wanted to do in the future. You know, I wanted to just do videos basically and work on them myself and try and better my videos. And I never really even considered it as a full-time job. Now, whilst I was working full-time, I was making around about 1.3 grand a month on videos. And I knew that there was absolutely no way I could go full-time YouTube on only like 1.3 grand a month. Fixer Room was paying me $750 a week, I ran about $50,000 a year roughly. I think it was around about that. And so to take that massive big pay cut going full-time YouTube definitely took a massive toll. But there was actually a few things that I worked around that I could try and manage those costs a little bit differently. So before I actually quit up Fixer-M, I was uploading for 3 years, trying to get videos out every second day. Now I'm going to get into the difficulties of that in a little bit later in this video, but yeah, I was doing videos every second day. I was working full-time and I really didn't have too much time for myself. So whilst I was working at Fixer-M, I devised a plan, and after watching a lot of Gary Vee and a lot of other people sort of talk about how you're able to quit your job and continue working on a lesser paycheck, I noticed that going full-time YouTube was actually more attainable than I thought. After watching Gary Vee, he basically said, while you're young and you have no overhead costs, then it is the best time to go out and do something that you love. So at the moment I have no children or plan to have any children in the future, I hope. The only things that I have at the moment that are costs for me is basically getting food on the table, have a roof over my head, also paying for bills like registration, insurance, petrol, electricity, water, that kind of stuff. So at the moment, whilst I was 21 years old, was probably going to be the cheapest living state that I could possibly have in the rest of my life. It's a lot easier for someone who's 21 years old and basically has no costs that they need to spend money on than let's say 10 years from now, if I was 30 years old, had one child, I was married, I had a mortgage and everything else as well. It's a lot easier to live on less money than if I was to do it in the future. Now, in October last year, I decided that I wanted to get a car for the channel, and at this point in time, I actually didn't think that I was going to quit my job at all. I was comfortably living at around $5,500 of income per month, and I wanted to get a R33 Skyline. After having a talk to Sam and doing so much research on the internet about something that I could try and get nice and cheap, that's still reliable, and something that was Japanese that I knew I wanted to get into but had no idea about, I knew the R33 was going to be a great addition for the channel, and I knew that it was also going to better my driving. Now, at this point in time, I didn't have the money to afford the R33s that were going around at the moment. I actually ended up getting out a $8,000 loan to get an R33 Skyline. As I said, at this time, I had no idea that I wanted to actually quit full-time work 2 months in the future. So I ended up getting $8,000 out, and I ended up spending $3,000 in November on my R33 Skyline that you guys see in all of my videos. Was it the greatest purchase? I don't know. I got it super cheap, and I've enjoyed making all the content ever since. So that left me with around about $6,000 in my bank, and I had an R33 Skyline and I had a turbo FG Falcon. And so I was like, okay, what can I do with these two cars and the $6,000 to try and progress forward, either put this money into my cars, put this money into my house, what I'm going to do with this money. I have been really terrible with money ever since I was young, and that made it a lot harder to sort of try and weigh up how I'm able to actually quit my job at Fixer-M and go full-time with YouTube, but yeah, this is how I did it. So whilst working at another company called Clicknition, I was actually doing Facebook advertising and Facebook ads for a lot of different dealerships around Australia, like car dealerships. So I was taking what the dealerships wanted and producing leads through Facebook ads, through, perfecting budgets and perfecting target audiences, and going out and getting them leads so that they could contact them and try and sell cars to them. And with that job is how I started actually developing my mindset for Facebook advertising. So I quit my job at Fixer-M in late November, and I completely, fully 100% finished on I think the 10th of December. I knew that I was going to be able to pretty much double my YouTube revenue because I was able to upload every single day, but that still wasn't going to give me enough money to where I had to pay off the loan that I had for my R33, I had to pay my house rent, I had to pay for food, I had to pay for a lot of things. My rent was $420 a week alone. The $2,000 a month literally would just go straight into that. I had no idea how I was actually going to offset those costs. I knew that Max was moving in, and I also knew that Sarah was moving in. So for the first few weeks, it was actually really, really tricky to try and work around those costs, especially having no $750 a week that I was able to sort of put into bills and rent and everything else as well. Max moved in and Sarah moved in. Now that got rid of basically mainly most of my costs from about $650 a week down to $200 a week. And what I was getting to before about this other business that I created is actually called ZB Socials. And what I did was When I actually quit Fixerim, I asked them if they wanted me to sign them up to the second business that I created, which is called ZB Socials. Now, ZB Socials was basically exactly what I was doing at Fixerim, but doing it from home. So what I do is I get a budget and I try and develop more leads for the business. So what that entitles is Fixerim pays me to develop ads for them, post on Facebook, and do everything like that. And in turn, they receive a profit from the amount of business that I get them through Facebook ads. Now, I do this for a couple of companies now, and I'll be completely honest, they were paying me $800 a month. So I did manage to get a few companies and businesses on board to actually do the ZB social media management. And you could easily see how even if I just got 3 companies or 2 companies on board, that I was able to basically offset all my costs. So as soon as I started doing full-time YouTube, basically 2 days after I quit my job, I did a road trip down to Victoria and back. And I did daily uploads. I missed one singular day hanging out with my family on Christmas Day. And basically I created videos for the entire 2 weeks, and the amount of attention that me quitting my job actually had because of my small channel, it was so insanely negative that I honestly thought I was ready to quit at that point. Like, I'd just done my full 2-week road trip. I was completely ready to quit YouTube at that point by how negative people were. I just quit my job at 15,000 subscribers. I was working from home and I was 21 years old and basically traveling all around Australia, making videos and working. You know, it was a brilliant life for me, but some that the audience of mine just couldn't take. It was absolutely crazy. And the worst thing is that I actually listened to the 2% of people that were being negative. 98% of people were actually absolutely loving the sort of stuff that I did. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit later in this video about how to sort of deal with that sort of side of YouTube, because it is a massive part. Like, you know, people can honestly not keep their mouth shut when it comes to you doing YouTube, putting basically most of your life out on social media, and yeah, it comes in naturally. You know, people just cannot shut their mouths. There are some people out there that have insane opinions and they know how to get to people's head, but I'm going to get to that a little bit later. So, how do YouTubers make money? There is 3 main sources of income that YouTubers can use to develop a revenue. First one is ad revenues. See what I did there? Ad revenue is the easiest way to make money on YouTube. All you have to do is get 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, and you can start making money on YouTube. Ad revenue is paid by advertisers to YouTube that advertise on top of your videos, and that's the ads that you see basically before any YouTube video that you watch on YouTube. Advertisers will pay a certain amount to put certain ads on different types of videos, and YouTube will pay you a cut as to how the ads do on your videos. So I'm going to bring you guys in super close to this screen right here. This is how much money advertisers will pay per ad click on your videos. So as you can see, it fluctuates like crazy. You know, like this point down here, I was only earning $8 per ad click, and this was in July 2nd, 2019. Now you guys can kind of see that, you know, it stagnates and it goes up just before Christmas, and then it jumps back down because no one's making any money at the start of the year. And then it goes back up, you know, around about March-ish, you know, around about Easter time. And then this is when coronavirus hit, and you can see basically people are paying less and less for ads. And now also here you can see my estimated revenue, which these are very, very accurate. You know, you basically get it down to within $1 or $2. So you can see in the first month that I went full-time in December, I ended up earning $3,662. And that's when it started going downhill. In January, I ended up earning $2,654, and in February, $2,288. Now, at this time, I was really weighing up my decision on going full-time YouTube so quickly. You know, it was not a good decision at all to do that. And these are the messages that kept playing around in my head. My YouTube income was going down like crazy. It just wasn't making any money. And I was daily uploading. I should have been earning more money than when I wasn't daily uploading, if you guys kind of get me. I should, you know, in my head, I should have been earning double. But did that work? It definitely did not. And that's why the second business was so important. Having that ZB Social business basically keeping me sustainable and alive and having a guaranteed income was massive. And if I didn't have that second business going, I would have gone back to work. I would have quit YouTube in January or February and gone back to work because I literally could not afford to do this. The second form of revenue is paid promotion. So if you guys see maybe like Raid Shadow Legends or Honey or someone or a YouTuber that says any of those names and saying that it's a sponsored video, they're getting paid a decent amount of money to say those things in their videos. You think of how Mr. Beast on YouTube has millions of dollars and is able to give people tens of thousands of dollars each, and how he's able to spend thousands of dollars in single videos. This is because Honey pays him those tens of thousands of dollars, and to have Jimmy actually say those things in videos, and that is how he's able to give so much money away. Obviously, the bigger you are, the more the advertisers will pay to actually have stuff said on a video. I think it roughly equates to 10,000 people is $100 or $1,000. It's one of those things. But if you think about the millions of views that, let's say, Mr. Beast has, then the tens of thousands of dollars that the companies would have to pay to have Mr. Beast say that on a video is crazy to think about. Now, the third style of revenue that YouTubers can use is merchandise. Now, I was really slow coming into this game, and I finally actually just released my own merch. Now, a lot of YouTubers have told me basically that with merchandise you can basically see the same results as you would from ad revenue. Because ad revenue fluctuates so much, you should really not count on it giving you a decent monthly wage, because you can see losses of sometimes up to 80%, and sometimes you can get, 80% more per month. It really fluctuates so much. And merchandise, for a lot of YouTubers, is actually the only stable income. And this is the point where I plug my own merch, yay! If you guys jump into the link below, I actually have a couple of t-shirts that I've designed and is now available for pre-order up until this Sunday night at 8 PM. These shirts are 100% Australian made and basically have my Ford Falcon XR6 Turbo and my new R33 Skyline. There has been crazy interest in actually just those two shirts alone. It has been mind-blowing as to how awesome you guys are and just how many people are checking out the website. So I want to give everyone a massive thank you for going on, having a look at that stuff. I really appreciate all the orders you guys have put on the website, and I love you all. Thank you so much. So as soon as I quit my full-time job, I had $10,000 in the bank. As I said, I'm going to be completely transparent with how much money I had, how much money I started up this company with, and how much I've ended up with. So basically, I have 3 different questions that I'm going to answer in this video alone, and that is what my best business decision was, what my worst business decision was, and sort of how YouTubers make money per video and sort of how they see a return putting parts in their cars or doing all that sort of stuff. First of all, I'm going to go into my biggest mistake I made as a YouTuber. During my very last day of work, I spent $2,000 and booked flights to Japan. Now at this time, I had accumulated around about 2,000 subscribers from my R33 Skyline. And after talking to Sam for ages, I was ready to make the trip over to Japan to sort of work out exactly what I wanted to do with my YouTube channel and how I wanted to go about making my R33 the way it is today, and learn a lot from Sam as to how he ran his YouTube business. Now, as I said, when I started out doing YouTube full-time, I had $10,000. By the time I left for Japan in February, I actually thought I did pretty well. I only lost a couple of $1,000, and that's expected of a brand new business. I ended up going over to Japan with $7,000, and I came back with 2. I had spent around about $5,000 on my trip to Japan alone, and that was half of my budget starting up a new business alone. And I don't know how many of you guys actually know, but my Japan videos flopped like crazy. As soon as I got over to Japan, and as soon as I didn't have my own cars, I was in a foreign country and I wasn't uploading my regular content. I was doing heaps of content of track days with my Ford Falcon, and I was working on my R33 Skyline, to going over there and looking at car culture videos, going and hitting up Japanese car shows and trying to show that to an audience of mainly Australian built car scene. It was really difficult and my views just tanked. They were disgusting. In the month of February alone as well, I only made $2,000 on YouTube revenue. That is a loss of $3,000 in 1 month. I still cringe to this day about how much money I lost on that trip. Do I regret it? Hell no, I don't regret that trip. I went over there and I drifted. I got to hang out with Okachan and got to give me the basics about drifting and what I want to do in the future. Sam helped me out immensely as to how to start a YouTube business, and it was the best experience of my entire life. I love Japan so much. I plan on going back there next year, especially when I start drifting as well. I feel like the reason that I the videos didn't do so well over there was because I wasn't doing my regular content over there. If I was drifting all the time on my channel over here, and then went and bought a JDM Chaser over in Japan and actually went drifting at Ebisu and everything, I feel like the views would sort of carry over from Australia to Japan and sort of work hand in hand so I can make good and relevant content over there. Now, an example of a good moneymaker. As I said, I went on a 2-week road trip around Australia. I like saying around Australia, but I basically just did an East Coast tour. So I went from Brisbane all the way to Melbourne and Victoria, and then all the way back up. And through then, I went to Newcastle twice, I went through Sydney, I went through Bathurst, I slept in my car most of the way down, I went to Port Franklin and Foster, and Melbourne, and also Bendigo. We went so many places, and it was absolutely brilliant. Now, in that month of YouTube, I earned $3,662. Now, if you guys remember a previous video that I made about how much my trip actually cost me, it was only $1,600. My views were going crazy when I first started YouTube full time, and doing that massive big road trip in my Falcon, an Australian car, tackling Australian roads, and meeting up with so many incredible people, and even just to the point where people were posting my face and taking photos with me, posting it up on their Instagram, and then that's how the thousands of other people were finding my accounts and stuff like that, and then following me and then watching my videos. It was a brilliant business idea to do that trip, and that's why I'm going to do it again next year. Because I spent so little money doing that whole trip, $1,600 basically, I saw a great return on investment. Think about it as an investment. Me doing that road trip, filming the whole lot, was a $1,600 investment to see how much money I could get back through making videos. And through making videos alone, I got $3,662. So that is a decent profit, and something that I want to do again. So now looking at it in a way of how YouTubers make money when they're not traveling or doing anything like that. And ZacBaldy actually made a great video on why YouTubers buy so many cars. I'm very fortunate to work with a lot of companies that actually give me a lot of parts for free, which is really cool, and it kind of helps me offset sort of how much money I'm making or how much I'm losing. Let's use the engine rebuild as an example. I spent $2,000 roughly rebuilding the engine on the R33 Skyline. Now, if I was a bigger YouTuber rebuilding that engine, that was around about 3 weeks worth of content making that car and spending $2,000 on that. Now, we rebuilt that engine in the month of March. And in the month of March on my YouTube channel, I actually earned $3,850. Now let's talk about that, let's say in one singular video. The way that the sort of business model works on YouTube is, especially in an automotive scene, let's say I install a short shifter on my car. That short shifter costs $200, and that video, let's say, gets 15 to 20,000 views. Now, I know my views are nowhere near as big as some other YouTubers out there, let's say like ZacBaldy getting 300,000 views at least sort of per video. If I install that one $200 part, and then that singular video, let's say, makes $300. Let's say it goes, it's a pretty decent video, ends up getting about 35,000 views over its lifetime, and then I see a return of $350 US. That's me taking $200 worth of parts, and then making a video out of it, and then receiving $350 worth of ad revenue. And then not only that, but the people that see that video and then decide, hey, I want to go buy some merch. That is also revenue as well coming in. And that is sort of how YouTubers make a business. You buy parts, buy cars, make videos with those parts or those cars, fitting them, building them, doing everything, and then they put the videos out to the public, who then watch monetized videos, and then are also shown merchandise as well, and that's how YouTubers make a profit. And not only that, and this is why I make so many massive decisions public on my YouTube channel. Every single decision that you make on YouTube reflects back into how well your videos will perform. Let's take my Falcon going 600 horsepower, for example. At the moment, the turbo that I'm putting on has basically a wastegate pipe welded straight onto the rear housing of the turbo. Now, I have a 45mm wastegate there and everything's sorted. The car it came off basically just had an open wastegate. And now I could put that straight back on my car and just leave it the way it is. Now let's look at the pros and cons of putting that screamer on my car in terms of the reality versus the YouTube profit side. If I went down to a track day and let's say I had a screamer on my car, you guys would be able to hear my car so much louder and the audio would probably be a lot nicer having that screamer on my car because you guys would actually be able to hear my car. Therefore making people watch the video longer, therefore seeing more ads, therefore seeing more merchandise advertising, therefore making me more money. Now not only that, but I could basically put on my YouTube channel a great title, a great thumbnail that says, "Putting a screamer on my XR6 Turbo." Boom, perfect title. People will watch that. That video, they will probably get a roughly between 10 to 15,000 views with the sort of following that I have at the moment. I am actually going to be plumbing that screamer back into my original exhaust section. That is going to cost me money as well to do that. It's kind of like a catch-22 in a way that, I know I want to build my car a certain way, but you can make more money doing it a different way. I could use having that wastegate open as a great way to advertise my car to the general public and have them watch more of my videos. Or I could keep the car and build it the way that I want and then possibly have less people sort of come in that way, but be more happy with myself in the way that I built my own car. And that's the biggest thing with making videos as well. You have to really draw a fine line as to how you want to do your own thing and not do things for your audience, but then also figure out a way of how you can try and get your audience more involved with what you're doing, but not give them complete control over what you want to do. So how can you start your own YouTube channel? Now this is 4 things that I have basically developed that you'd really need to think about when you're starting your own YouTube channel. First of all, you need to donate as much time as possible to try and create consistent content. I was uploading every second day, and if you think about it, every second day your video makes, let's say, $50. The YouTube algorithm relies on consistency. If you're not consistent with your uploads, YouTube algorithm will be all over the place. I upload every single day at 6 p.m. If I was to miss one day, not only is that going to take away, let's say, $120 of revenue from that one video that I missed, it'll also affect the YouTube algorithm, so not as many people will see my next video recommended the next day, therefore potentially losing me $20. And then eventually, I could probably lose, over the whole time it takes me to develop that algorithm back to where everyone is being recommended my video, I may even lose $200 in the process. Missing one video is a lot more important than you think. But also in that aspect, please remember to take some time for yourself. During the time that I was trying to build up my YouTube channel over, let's say, 3 years before I went full-time, it was really difficult for me to try and weigh up me doing, let's say, my own thing, going and hanging out with my girlfriend on the weekends, or me staying home and making content. I was basically making videos after work, letting it render overnight, letting it upload the next day, and then uploading it that very next night. I had absolutely no time for myself. I wasn't eating, I wasn't doing anything. I was very unhealthy at that point in time, and also very not mentally well as well. It really does take a toll. Doing YouTube in that aspect, trying to build yourself up while working, really was taking a toll on me. Not looking in a way that YouTube was taking a toll on me, my full-time work was taking a toll on me, because I knew that I wanted to do YouTube, and I knew that I wanted to make videos for myself, but work was getting in the way. Work was the way that I made money, but I wasn't happy in those jobs at all, and that is the reason why it was affecting me so much. Now my second tip is to find your niche. Before I started uploading automotive content, I was actually doing travel videos. Now, travel videos weren't going so well because it was literally me and Sarah going to the beach, going for a climb up a mountain, and it was so goddamn hard because I didn't enjoy it as much as me making automotive content. Sarah and I loved making those travel videos, but I didn't love making those travel videos as much as I did making automotive content. I had more knowledge making automotive content, plus I had my cars there. Sarah is basically the entire reason why I'm doing YouTube today. She was the one that told me to go get the G7X in the first place, to start making videos. She's probably the reason why I'm here today making videos. I've been making videos for 10 years, but I never even considered it as an actual business for myself until she went, you can actually start doing this. You've been watching Adam LZ and Semet for literally that long now. You can be them if you really tried hard, and that's basically what I'm doing. But yeah, as I said, I went to Sarah after, let's say, a month of doing YouTube. Now I'd had, let's say, around about 2,000 views doing these travel videos, and I was like, Sarah, I'm really not enjoying the way that my channel is going. I want to start doing more automotive content. And that's where ZacBaldy came from. doing automotive content, because it is my biggest passion in life. Is cars, racing, just automotive sports in general is what I love. Number 3 is your excitement level. If you're not excited about making a video, people aren't gonna watch you. That's literally it. Your excitement level in videos either makes or breaks a video completely. If you're not excited about a subject that you're talking about, no one will sort of relate to that passion that you have, and therefore people won't watch your videos as long. It's like when I bought the R33. The car that made me excited was buying that R33, and I feel like that excitement basically went from that car to me and then onto you guys as well, which helped you guys watch my video and watch how excited I was about getting that car. Just like after I first got my Falcon tuned and I went for a drive, that excitement level of finally going for a drive in my brand new car that now has 440 horsepower going for my first ever drive. It was so much fun and so exciting that people loved it and people watched the entire thing. Now, the 4th thing that I would like to talk about is your equipment. YouTube doesn't rely on having the best camera or anything like that at all. You could still make great videos on Windows Movie Maker with an iPhone. Obviously, having like an older camera, one that's really pixelated and doesn't have great sound, will make people sort of click away from your video because there'll probably be better quality videos out there for what they're after. I've seen vloggers who literally have millions of subscribers that literally film on their iPhones. Like, this is an iPhone X, has great video quality, to be honest, could potentially even be a great rival for my old G7X. You know, these cameras are great. They have great audio, great video, and people can make thousands, if not millions of dollars literally just from their phone. I definitely do agree that having a good camera and good editing software and having knowledge to sort of work around those two things can definitely help your videos, and you know, it's better in the long run to see if you can try and up the quality of your videos. But yeah, having the best equipment definitely is not a necessity, but it's definitely sort of like, you know, you kind of want it to have good quality so people watch your videos. Now, the 5th thing is do it because you love it. I started YouTube 10 years ago on a channel called ZacBaldy 100. Now, I made videos on Windows Movie Maker of remote control cars because I was into off-road racing at the time, and I literally made videos of images that I got off the internet, put it over rock music, and then just literally put images in a slideshow and uploaded them onto YouTube. They are terrible videos, but I absolutely loved making them. And I loved making my scooter videos that I did back around 6 years ago, and now I love making these videos. The fact that I'm able to do what I love every single day, literally just, it's like, you know those cliche people that say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It really does become true when you start doing something that you actually love. Start your YouTube channel for the right reasons. Don't go into YouTube thinking you're gonna make millions of dollars, because it doesn't happen like that. You know, we can all go watch like David Dobrik or go watch Logan Paul and see how much money they're pouring into their lives and, you know, going out and buying insane cars for their friends, like David Dobrik literally giving his friend a Lamborghini. That is mental. I think it's probably the most expensive thing that someone's ever given to someone on YouTube, or possibly even Mr. Beast giving that homeless guy a house. Like, that is mental. But that doesn't come overnight. If you watch any successful YouTuber and sort of look at the backstory of how they got to the point that they are, you will find that their earliest videos are some of the best videos that they have on YouTube, because literally YouTubers make videos for the pure enjoyment out of making videos. As I said before, 10 years ago, YouTube didn't even have a revenue system. And you know, 11-year-old me who loved RC racing, it was just, I loved having the videos. I didn't care about views, I didn't care about subscribers, I didn't care about anything. I was literally just putting up videos just for the sake of it and because I wanted to. And literally it was the same exact thing for my ZacBaldy 100 channel, my MGP Riders channel, my Mayhem Games 1 channel, and my ZacBaldy Films, which is now ZacBaldy channel. Every single one of my videos that I upload is for the pure enjoyment out of making videos. The fact that I'm able to do this full time now is literally an added bonus, to be honest. Even if I wasn't making any money on this, I would still be making videos. I 100% would be. I love it way too much. I have around about 1,500 videos up on all my YouTube channels, and yeah, looking back at them, some of them are really cringy, but it made the videos what they are today, and I'm super stoked at where I am. Now, one of the last things I want to talk about is hate, and I was actually going to get into this a little bit more at the end of the video because I didn't want many people to rely on this information here and sort of that be a reason why they quit YouTube, because there's been so many YouTubers, and literally has been YouTubers that have taken their own lives because of opinions of people on the internet. Let's jump into my comments right now because this would be funny. This is just in literally the last 2 hours that I've got these 2 comments. I haven't even uploaded in the last 12 or so hours. So let's have a read of these. You drive like a grandma. It's frustrating to watch. Easing into it on camera is bitch mode. Give it some juicy bitch boys. Break it and learn how to fix it like everyone else. Was this video worth the risk of driving without a license and on-the-spot fine of $13,000 for non-essential travel though? I agree with Ned. Stay the fuck home, you cockhead Zach. As I said, these comments are literally within the last 2 hours since I actually just ended up putting these comments onto YouTube anyway. Any negative comments that you get, you should literally just leave up on YouTube because the act of them actually leaving comments on your videos actually rates them higher on YouTube's algorithm. So why not just leave them there instead of deleting them? Now, one thing I do want to get into around about with this sort of like whole coronavirus thing and me driving everywhere even during the times of lockdown, YouTube is my 100% form of income at the moment, and if I wasn't able to drive as an automotive YouTube channel, I would literally not be able to make videos at all. I have no parts here that I can put on my 2 cars. I did call the police and I did seek the relative legal advice as to whether I could go out and drive my cars and create content and film videos. And I was told that yes, as long as I carried my ABN around and I had a legitimate reason for going out and actually filming a video where I was driving to or where I was driving from, then I would be completely 100% okay with filming videos and earning money whilst driving. So yeah, any comments like that, please just look over them because trust me, they're not worth getting into your head. Just gonna quickly post these 2 comments up to make sure my algorithm's all good. Before I started YouTube, I honestly think that I could message anyone on my Facebook friends list or anyone in the world and have them respond to me and think of me as just a regular human being that has the same emotions and everything else as well as what everyone else does. The moment I uploaded my very first ever YouTube video, I had double the people that hate me and I didn't even do anything to them apart from try and make a video that I wanted to do. I could imagine there's over 10,000 people in this world that probably don't like me or don't like the things that I do. You know what the funniest thing is? I have never met them. I have never ever talked anything bad about them. I have never seen them in real life. And they also have no reason to hate me because they could just click off my videos instead of watching them. Haters are stupid and have half the brain that you do. And the sooner that YouTubers realize that and start taking that into account, that literally it's just, you know, added algorithm points, then you're on your way to doing something that you generally will enjoy in the future. A message for all the haters that actually didn't make it this far in the video. The best way to hate on a YouTube video is to not comment, because when you comment, we get more money. So actually, haters, you know, in the comment section down below, please leave as much hate as you want because I want to see it. I really do. Do your worst, because I'm interested to see just how much you guys hate me, trust me. Literally the best way to hate in a video is to not comment and don't leave a like, because otherwise you're just helping us with our algorithm. So cheers guys, I appreciate it. Anyway, I know this video was probably jumping around like crazy and it's going to be an absolute pain to edit this video because I literally cannot talk properly with that word. But yeah, I hope you guys understood sort of what I was trying to get at in this video and gave you guys relevant information as to how I built my YouTube channel from 15,000 subscribers and was able to sustain doing this full time for now almost 6 months. Since January, my revenue from YouTube has increased by double to the point where I don't need my ZB Socials business anymore. I'm doing some more stuff to my cars, I'm managing my money better, and it's taking off. I'm super stoked. I'm definitely around here for the long run. I want to give you guys a massive thank you if you managed to watch till the end of the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.